guys, and welcome back to my channel. I know what you guys are thinking. I am looking a little crazy. So basically today I'm going to be doing an American makeup look, which is this side, and then an Indian makeup look, which is on this side. So a lot of you guys don't know that I am born and brought up in America, but I do have Indian origin. My parents are from India, my family is from India, and I have been actually really fortunate to be able to spend a little bit of time in India and really got to know how the trends are, how the makeup, what kind of makeup they use. So this is basically my interpretation of how Indian makeup is done. So if you guys want to see how I got this American look and Indian look, then please continue watching. I'm going to be doing this side of the face American, so this is the side, the right side, well, my right, and then the left side of the face I'm going to be doing Indian, so this side. And so I'm starting off with priming, and for the American side, Americans generally like pore filler primers and primers that are very like sort of hiding the pores sort of, but a lot of people I see, they love dewy skin, so I am using the Hello Fab Coconut Skin Smoothing Priming Moisturizer. That's a long name. I'm just adding that all over. So just so you guys know, all the products that I'm using on the Indian side of the face are all products that are available in India and that are available online also as well, but mainly available in the Indian market. This video is not sponsored or anything like that from any company, but I'm just letting you guys know that I want to make sure that I use products that are easy and accessible for anyone who's from India. So for the Indian side, I'm going to be using the Professional Benefit Pore Minimizing Primer. This is basically sort of a pore minimizing slash mattifying primer. I feel like this really mattifies your skin a lot. India generally is a very humid and a very hot place, and it's very, very tropical. So Indians do prefer to sort of use more mattifying products, and I generally like to add my primer more towards like right here by my cheeks and by my nose, because that's where I feel like my pores are huge. And getting into foundation, the Americans love our full cover look. This is probably the best foundation that I could use. It's the Loreal Infallible Total Cover Foundation. I'm using this brush from the Makeup Shack, and this is a really nice buffing brush. And so for the Indian side, I'm going to be using a BB cream from Rimmel London. So basically, Indians like a little bit more of the BB cream, CC cream, tinted moisturizer sort of trend, because they like more like, they like coverage, but they don't like that super full coverage look. So for concealer on the American side, I'm going to be using the Nars Radiant Creamy Concealer. This is a really go-to product in America. I'm doing like the normal triangular sort of trend that everybody does in America. So Indians don't really highlight and conceal all at the same time, and if there's a little bit of extra darkness underneath the eyes, then they just go over it with just a normal concealer with any kind of, that is similar to their skin tone. So I'm going to be using the LA Girl Pro Concealer, and this is basically in my shade. They just add it like on the inner part of the eye, and then more like just sort of only like right below the eye. So I'm just going to use the same sort of concealer on my eyelids as well, and just use it as a primer as well. So I'm blending out the American side first, and I'm using my Veromona Cake and Bake sponge. This is a really good sponge. I've been using it for a while and I really like it. And I'm going to be using the other side of the sponge to blend out the Indian side of the face. For the American side, to set the under eyes, I'm going to be using the Urban Decay Shapeshifter, and this has a really pretty like a banana shade in here. I'm going to take my Luxie brush and just set underneath the eyes. So in India, they don't really set the under eyes too much with the baking powder and then more with a different powder. They just take generally one color or one shade. So I'm using the Maybelline Fit Me mattifying poreless powder. Just set it underneath the eyes and wherever you want to just sort of mattify it a little bit extra. And I'm using the powder side of the palette, and I'm just going to dip this into this color right here. It's more of like a contour color, and this is like the medium palette that is for the medium dark one. And I'm just taking a very little amount, and I'm just going to chisel up with the contour, because in America we like our contour. A very tiny little brush, and just contour my nose because I think we like to do that too as well. And for the Indian side, I'm going to be using this bronzer to sort of contour. This bronzer is from The Body Shop. They do use contouring in India, but the contouring is slightly different, so I'm just going to show you guys how it's done. It's a little bit different. I'm just going to use this contour brush. It's from Real Techniques. So I'm just going to add it right here. In India, this is how they do it, as normal, like how you do it. And then they just sort of take it down like this as well. So they basically do this, and then they like to always contour the jawline. And then obviously you can extend right here too a little bit. I'm going to be using this blush from Tarte, and it is the shade Parttyyyy. And Americans do like their blush, obviously, sort of to the back and more towards the apple, like right here. Like generally right here from like the apples of the cheeks, and then they kind of like pull it back this way. Indian side, I'm going to be using the blush from NYX. So Indians generally like to take their blush more towards the back where the contour is, and this is more towards like the back of like joining it with the contour. I'm taking this highlighter brush from the Makeup Shack for the American side, and I'm just going to dip into the highlighter and just highlight my cheekbone. So in India, highlighter is not a big thing at all. As you see, I did highlight the side of the face, but I'm not going to highlight for the India side of the face. And so for brows, the American side, basically Americans do like a little bit of that sort of arch brow, a little bit more dramatic and really nicely sort of filled in. But however, on the Indian side, they don't like too of a very heavy brow. They like it more natural, but at the same time they do like a really fuller brow. This is generally my favorite brow product that I use all the time. And taking a little bit of concealer, I'm going to just clean out the eyebrows a little bit. And now for the Indian side, I'm going to be using a powder brow, and this is the NYX eyebrow cake powder, and take the darker. I'm actually going to mix the two shades together, the darker and the lighter one together. And you notice I'm not going to arch this one at all. I'm just going to keep it more natural, but then fuller at the same time. So it's like natural, meaning keeping the same shape, but then again also giving it that extra color. So we didn't prime the American side of the eyelid, so I'm going to be using the Urban Decay Eyeshadow Potion Primer. For the eyeshadows, I'm going to be using this palette from MAC. So taking this fluffy brush, I'm going to start off with this shade right here. So in America, generally we like adding just a transition shade on top and then building the color up, whereas we start off with a lighter transition shade and then sort of build it up with a darker color. But in India, it's a little different. They basically go for a more just a lid color overall, and then they just sort of highlight the brow bone a little bit. So I'm using this shade right here, a mauve shade. You can see it's like a light mauve shade right here. And then I'm going to take, with the same brush, I'm going to be taking a little bit of a lighter shade. Well, I'm going to add this to the crease. That in only on the crease right here. Well, I'm going to focus it more on the crease. I'm taking like a fluffier sort of a shadow brush, this shade right here. It's a really pretty dark mauve color right here, and more towards like the outer of the lid. So I'm just blending it a little bit, but then I'm obviously going to take my same blending brush and then blend out the edges. This really pretty gray silvery shade from the same palette, and I'm just going to add that onto sort of the inner corners. So I'm just going to take more of the same shade that we used earlier. It's like a very pretty mauve shade, and we're going to actually work that on the outer of the eye because I want to make sure that it looks a little darker. So for the American side, we all know that Americans love a little bit of a wing liner. Actually, not a little bit. They love the fierce wing liner. So to wing out the eyes, I'm going to be using this NYX gel liner. I am also going to take a little bit of this sort of a lighter highlighter shade from the same MAC palette, and I'm going to just add that to the inner corners of the eyes like that, if you can see that, just the tear duct right there. On the Indian side, I am going to be using the nudes palette from Maybelline. So I'm going to just take a little bit of this shade, which is like a really pretty taupey sort of a shade right here, and I'm going to add that onto almost like the entire crease. So in India, they love a little bit of the smoky eye, and they love shimmer, they love a little of that glossy sort of eye. And of course, smoky eye is like the thing in India. So they use a lot of kohl eyeliner, black kohl eyeliner underneath the eyes. I'm gonna take a little bit of a darker color right here, and I'm gonna keep that more on the outer corner, and I'm just blending it with the same brush because it is like a blending brush as well. So I'm gonna be using the ColourPop eyeshadow. It's a shimmer eyeshadow called Cheap Dates. And I'm just gonna take that and just add that on the entire lid almost, basically not on like the middle, but more of the entire lid, because they like that pop of shimmer like coming through. And yeah, you can see how that sort of comes out. Like I mentioned, in India they do use a lot of kohl liner, but I'm also going to sort of smoke out my upper lash line. If it's a little bit messy, it doesn't really matter, because I am gonna go ahead and sort of blend that in and just blend in the black liner that we added. And you want to blend in right away because this does sort of dry a little bit. I'm actually taking the same brush and just taking my strokes and just going like this a little upwards, just because I want the eyeliner to sort of blend in with the eyeshadows. That's sort of what they like to do. So yeah, I'm just sort of blending that in and then taking it towards like my lower lash line a little bit, because I want that black to sort of smoke in right there. I'm going to be using this kohl liner from the Body Shop. It is a black kohl liner. And for the American side, for mascara, I'm going to be using the Lash Lights and Camera Lash. It's from Tarte basically, and these are super volumized. And I am going to be adding falsies on the American side. So Indians generally don't use falsies too much on a daily basis, or more on a regular basis. This is the Maybelline Colossal Big Shots mascara. Indians love super volume on their eyelashes, but however they don't use that many falsies. And for lashes on the American side, I'm going to be using my Ardell lashes. Actually, I've used the other ones before, so I have these ones on the bottom. They're more of a natural wispy lashes, and I'm just going to go ahead and pop that on the American side. I always love a little bit of that sort of a smoky on the lower lash line. So I'm just smoking out the same color that we blended on the top. So I'm going to take a little bit of this duochrome highlighter and just apply a little bit on the brow bone and just pat it in. And I'm also going to take the same highlighter, and I'm going to sort of extra highlight my American side, of course. I'm going to just wet my highlighter brush right here, and I'm just taking the Tarte Rainforest of the Sea mist, because we want that extra pop of glow on the American side. You guys can see the glow happening here. What's really in and popular in America and trending at this point is using a nude lip. So I'm gonna go for a nude on the American side of the face, and I'm gonna be using the Rimmel number 14, and I'm just gonna line my lips, and I'm using this lip liner from Maybelline. It is in the shade Rich Chocolate. And for the Indian side, we're going to be using this lipstick from Color Essence. So this is, of course, a really beautiful sort of a burgundy red. So in India, they love to use more like brighter, really strong, sort of dark, bright colors. So guys, this basically sums up the look. Do let me know on the comments down below, any of you that found any of these techniques, or the Indian side or the American side, different, or you have your own interpretation. And if you guys did like this video, then don't forget to hit that like button, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel to see more videos. And thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys all next time. Bye!